What is the single most powerful, most dangerous, most reality-shattering item in all of Genshin Impact? Is it a gnosis, the heart of a god? Is it forbidden knowledge from the abyss? Is it the ultimate power of the primordial one? No, no, and no. The single most terrifying object in this entire game is this. Yes, a simple bottle of milk. And today, we are going to prove that this innocent-looking everyday item is not a meme, it's not a joke, it is the single greatest conspiracy in Teyvat. A conspiracy that, when unraveled, could expose the fundamental, terrifying lie at the heart of this entire world. This isn't just a theory, this is an investigation. So grab your tinfoil hats, because today, we are exposing the great Bovine Conspiracy. Hello everyone, and welcome to the channel. Let's get one thing straight. Teyvat has a farmyard problem, a paradox so obvious yet so pervasive that we have all been collectively brainwashed into ignoring it. Let's lay out the case, shall we? Exhibit A. We use fowl in countless recipes, but where are the chickens? The only birds we ever see are the pigeons of Mondstadt, which, by the way, are not considered fowl, and cranes, which I sincerely hope are not what we're turning into sweet madams. Exhibit B. We eat meat, but this meat only ever drops from boars, foxes, and squirrels. There are no sheep, there are no farm animals to speak of. And then, Exhibit C. The horse in the room. Or rather, the lack of horse in the room. Kaeya is the cavalry captain of the Knights of Favonius, a cavalry with no horses. Varka, as we are famously told, left on his grand expedition with the cavalry, taking all the horses with him. We are explicitly, textually told that horses exist, but they are conveniently, universally absent from the world we actually get to play in. This isn't an oversight. This isn't a, whoops, we forgot. This is a pattern. This is a deliberate, systematic, and I argue, sinister omission. But all of that is just circumstantial. The real smoking gun, the piece of evidence that turns this from a funny observation into a full-blown conspiracy is the milk. This is the core of the problem. We buy milk, we drink milk, we use milk, but there are no cows. Not one. Not a single, solitary, mooing, grass-chewing cow in all of Teyvat. So where does the milk come from? Now I know what you're thinking, you're already typing in the comments, but what about the sumpter beasts in Sumeru? They could probably be milked, and that's a fine theory, a great theory, but it is completely 100% wrong. Why? Because of this. Look at the label. Hoyilders could have put anything on this label. They could have put a sumpter beast. They could have drawn a new fantasy animal. They could have, God forbid, put an aranara with horns on it and called it oat milk. They could have just written milk in the Teyvat alphabet, but they didn't. They chose, very specifically, to put a picture of an Earth-style black and white horned cow, complete with a little cowbell. This was not a mistake. This was not an oversight. This was a choice. And this choice opens the door to a host of much, much weirder theories. So let's follow the clue and ask our question. What happened to the cows? All right. Let's get the sensible, boring answer out of the way first, because it is, in all honesty, the most likely one. The answer is game design. The world of Teyvat is not a one-to-one simulation of a real planet. It's an abstraction. It's a beautifully crafted world game designed for exploration, combat, and story. The things we see are representations, not a comprehensive census of all life. Think about Springvale. It's presented as a town of hunters, a key location for Mondstadt's food supply. In the game, it's about 8 houses and 12 people. Is this literally the entire town? Of course not. It's a stand-in for a much larger settlement that we don't need to see. We don't see massive fields of wheat, but we use flour. We don't see tomato farms, but we use them in our cooking. We don't see toilets, but we can probably assume they exist. The game, quite reasonably, does not waste its precious time, budget, or your hard drive space on things that serve no gameplay purpose. So the sensible answer is this. We don't see cows, horses, or chickens because there's no point in us seeing them. They exist in the lore, off camera, in the vast, unseen farmlands of Teyvat, and they just buy their products in the city. Case closed. It's a clean answer. It's a tidy answer. And it's the answer Hoyoverse wants you to believe. but it just doesn't explain the label. Why put a cow on the bottle? Why create the mystery in the first place? This is where the real fun begins. So let's follow the clue. Why would a world without cows use a cow as its symbol for milk? This leads us to theory 2. The cultural fossil or the descender theory. We know Teyvat is not an isolated system. It is a world that has been visited and fundamentally changed by descenders from other worlds. We are one, our twin is complicated, but there were others. What if a descender, perhaps even the first one, came from a world like ours? A world where cows are the primary source of milk? What if they introduced the concept of dairy farming, or at least the word milk and the symbol cow to the people of Teyvat? Over thousands of years, the actual cows may have died out or never even been successfully imported in the first time. But the idea of them, the logo, persisted. The symbol of the cow became the universal standardized logo for milk from a mammal, even if the milk in that bottle actually comes from a sumpter beast, a desert mammal, or yes, let's get it out of the way, the legendary cocoa goat. Chi-Chi's half-remembered fantasy of a cocoa goat might be a child's fragmented memory of this exact phenomenon, a mythical creature that produces the milk everyone drinks. In this theory, the cow on the bottle is a cultural fossil. It's a linguistic ghost. It's exactly like how we still say roll up the window in a car with electric buttons, or dial a number on a phone with no dial. The original object is gone, but the language and the symbol remain. This is an elegant, lore-friendly theory, but it's still not the weirdest one. This is where we go full tinfoil hat. What if the game design answer and the descender theory are both just covers for something far more sinister? What if cows did exist? What if Teyvat was full of them? Vast, rolling pastures, barns, cheesemakers, the whole 9 yards. And what if something happened to them? We know, thanks to the Sumeru Archon quest, that Teyvat's history is not set in stone. The Irminsul, the world tree, holds all the memories of the world, and those memories, they can be rewritten. We saw it happen with Greater Lord Rukkhadevata. She was erased from the world, and everyone forgot her, as if she had never existed. Only the Descenders, the Traveler, remembered the truth. So theory 3, the Bovine Mandela effect.
What if, for some reason, cows were erased from Irminsul? Why? What could a cow have possibly done to anger Celestia? Maybe they weren't just cows. Maybe they were sacred beasts of a god who lost a war. Maybe they were the original vectors for a form of abyssal corruption, and the only way to cure Teyvat was to erase the source. Maybe they were all yeeted out of time and space by Venti, as one scholar put it. In this scenario, the world's memory was reset. The animals vanished, the pastures grew over, but the physical objects created before the reset, they would remain, just as the Wanderer's hat remained. In this theory, the milk bottle isn't a cultural fossil, it's a glitch in the matrix. It's a terrifying, tangible piece of reality that no longer exists. It's an artifact from the old world that the memory wipe missed, a silent testament to a truth that everyone else has forgotten. But that still doesn't feel like the final answer, does it? It's dramatic, but it feels a little convoluted. This brings us to the final, and in my opinion, most terrifying and all-encompassing theory. Teyvat is not a real world. It is a pocket dimension, a simulation, a gilded cage, as the Wanderer called it. We know the sky is false. We've seen characters like Mavica literally damage it. We know Celestia watches over Teyvat like a warden, not a god. What if Teyvat is an experiment, a terrarium for humanity? In this model, the beings who maintain this experiment, the heavenly principles, don't need to waste time simulating a full-scale agricultural ecosystem. That's inefficient. When the inhabitants of the experiment need milk, the system simply spawns it in. It appears in the shops, in the crates we break, in the commissions we run, because the system provides it as a prop. The milk in our inventory isn't from an animal. It's a resource. It's just code. And the cow on the bottle? That's the most chilling part. It's the simulation's default asset. When the creators of this pocket dimension were coding consumable milk, they just pulled milk.texture01.png from their asset library. And their library, their real world, had cows. The cow on the bottle is literally the default icon. This theory explains everything. It explains the lack of cows. It explains the logo. It even explains the horses. Varka didn't literally take all the horses. Varka and his cavalry were despawned. They were moved off-map by the game engine, and their associated assets were unloaded to save memory. Kaeya is a cavalry captain because that is his coded role in the simulation, even if his cavalry asset is no longer loaded in the instance. This, in my opinion, is the most mind-shattering and elegant answer. It takes a simple, silly joke and turns it into one of the biggest pieces of evidence supporting that Teyvat is a simulation theory. So where does this leave us? We started with a simple, silly question about milk, and we have journeyed through game design, cultural anthropology, world-altering conspiracies, and the very nature of reality itself. The cow paradox is the perfect metaphor for every single mystery in Genshin Impact. It's a question that has a simple, practical, and boring answer, and also a complex, terrifying, and lore-shattering answer. The developers, I believe, have created this ambiguity on purpose. The unseen cows and the absent horses are Schrodinger's lore. They both exist just off-screen in a real Teyvat, and are non-existent because they are just uncoded assets in a simulation. Both are true at the time, until Hoyoverse finally opens the box. The real answer is, it doesn't matter. The point is the question. The point is that this world is so meticulously crafted that even a joke about milk can lead you to the footsteps of God. The cow paradox isn't a plot hole, it's a feature. It's an invitation to look closer, to question everything, and to realize that in Teyvat, nothing is ever just a milk bottle. But that's my take. What do you believe? Is this all just a practical developer shortcut? Is the milk bottle a glitch in the Irminsul? Or is it the default texture in a simulation that we are all trapped in? Let me know your own theories, no matter how wild, down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this trip down the rabbit hole, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss the next investigation. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.